Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish, where we talk about all of those things you need to bring together to have a successful coaching program, be an author, a speaker, and sometimes just a small business to generate leads. Don't forget to go over and take our quiz at www.promoteprofitquiz.com and find out where your skill set lies and if you're ready for the big launch. So today's guest was like an accidental guest, sort of. One of my clients introduced us, and I thought, I kind of rolled my eyes and went, oh, she's from my hometown. She's one of those. But it turned out when we chatted that she wasn't one of those at all, and I won't even get into what one of those is. But she knows what I'm talking about. So Amber Griffiths is a branding expert and rock star. She's dedicated to helping entrepreneurs exponentially increase their profits, work with people who excite them, and revel in the genuine thrill of getting paid to do what they love to do. I love that word, revel. Amber chaired the educational committee for NAMBO and is currently a member of the eWomen's Network, Public Speakers Association, and Women's Coaching Association. She speaks to audiences across the country and in Europe, that's how I met her, to educate and support business owners as they create their rockstar brands. She is a two-time best-selling author and was recently awarded the Best of the West in Branding Award. I feel like there should be like guns and cowboy hats.
A little Western, isn't it?
I know, and cowboy boots there. Amber enjoys everything music related, attending live concerts, impromptu dance parties in the kitchen with her daughter, and singing anywhere the acoustics will allow. If you spend more than 20 minutes with her, you'll hear at least one movie quote. Ooh, we're going to get a movie quote today, and a handful of Amberisms. If you haven't yet seen Real Genius, Amber highly recommends that you do so immediately. It's totally 80s and wonderful and will help you understand at least 20% of her sense of humor. So wait, we have to watch a TV show to get you. Is that what you're saying?
You know what? You will thank me. Watch that movie. It's Val Kilmer's one of his first ones. You will thank me when you're done.
Okay, so just to repeat that, the name of the movie is Real Genius with Val Kilmer. Does anybody even remember who he is? I don't know. Well, you know what? There's there's supposed to be like a Top Gun reboot. Maybe he'll be in it.
Maybe he'll show up.
Yeah, maybe. So how are you? Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. This is a really great way to spend my afternoon.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's so funny because we live so close and yet you're in your living room or your office and I'm in mine. So yes. She literally just lives across the freeway from me. So we're going to talk branding today. What exactly is a rock star brand?
I am so glad you asked me. Rock star is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot. Branding is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot. But in my little world, here's what it is. Your brand is so much more than your logo. It is everything you say and everything you do to nurture and develop and support a powerful, profitable experience for your ideal client. So it goes beyond your logo, beyond your business cards. Your brand is that part that is easy to share. I mean, if you ever had that experience where you're like, I'm not even quite sure what she does, but you have to meet her. That's part of your brand, that experience, that story, that time spent together that's easy to share. That's brand. It drives your marketing. Then you have rockstar. And rockstar is often, woo, rockstar, she kicks butt, she's awesome, she's rockstar. In my little world, in addition to my music background, rockstar means no apologies, no caveats, no disclaimers, just you claiming 100% of who you are and being committed to working with 100% of your ideal client. So when you put those together and it's a rockstar brand, that means you just claiming 100% of your voice and owning every single thing about that and committed to serving your people with everything you have all across the board, from your social to your printed to your web to your interactions to the places you network, all of it with no apologies, just being 100% of who you are and saying you're welcome when you're done.
That is so awesome, because I think when so many people start out, they're somebody else. I don't know if you have this happen, but we do with books. People bring us and they're just like Jack Canfield, or they're just like, I want to be like this person over here. And you're not that person. And people can feel, when we're getting into the neuro marketing area, people don't know why they can feel it, but they can feel it, that something is really off.
Yeah. You can smell nonsense a mile away.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too. It's not, I don't think it's sustainable. If you try, I mean, especially if you're just getting started, I understand that I have a mentor, I have a coach, I'm looking around to see what there is in the industry. But if you try to do it just like that, it's not going to work for you in that same way, because that's them. That's their story. That's their ideal client. So by being really true to who you are, you get to make way more money and you get to do it while you giggle. So do it that way. It's more sustainable and it's way more fun.
Yes, yes, it is. I'm going to just share a little story here real quickly. When I'm going to say around 2015, I was with a coach who was trying to make me into her. And she actually at one point said, "You don't even like your audience." And I thought about that. And about a month later, I rebranded and I quit working with her. And I was like, no, it's not that I don't like my audience. It's that I'm action.
Yeah.
That's my brand. And that just hers was really sweet. And I actually remember my webinar guy, I had this thing in my webinar where I was holding my hand out with a gift. And he literally looked at it and he's like, who the hell is that? I've never seen you do anything like that. So you really do have to be very, because people feel it. And once I changed, totally took off. Like
Oh,
people got that was really me. And it just, you have to be like that from the start.
I think so. I mean, if you think something like that, something as simple as that kind of a gesture, when it's not you, it's not like you probably felt very awkward going, here,
Right.
here's this thing. They told me this is what we do.
Right.
Keep giving, but it's not you. And so it comes across as awkward. Like you are uncomfortable with it. So
Yeah,
there's no way your ideal clients are going to go, ooh, that's me. Let's do this.
exactly. Or that, how does that feel for you? I'm not a feely, but okay. So what are the biggest mistakes that businesses make when it comes to branding?
I think we've just sort of touched on one of those, is looking around at what everybody else is doing and then trying to imitate it. And
Mhm.
it's, again, if you take something, there are no new ideas. There's only the customization and the implementation of the fundamentals. So if you see what somebody else is doing, by all means, I mean, everybody does social. Everybody has a newsletter at some point. I mean, I've been doing this since the late 90s. So everybody has a newspaper ad. Everybody has a business card. But it's the way you do it that makes it amazing and that brings in your people. So I watch entrepreneurs, and it's not just the startups. Like, I would love to give the corporations a big pass, but they are guilty of it too. They
Mhm.
get caught up in what everybody else is doing on the outside or whatever the shiny new trend is, and they just jump without thinking, wow, was there cheese at the end of that too? Like, what was the result I'm going to do? It's part of why, and it's a little touchy feely, but it's that vision you create in your business that keeps you super focused and super driven. Because then if something comes along, you can say, is that an opportunity or is that a distraction? And you can answer that by saying, does it take me where I said I wanted to go? And if it doesn't, then you let it go and you'll be done. There's no energy about it. There's no, let me think about that for a week and be worried about it. It's just, no, it doesn't take me where I want to go.
Mhm.
So the more you are clear about what you are creating, not what you thought you were going, and it's one of those things that I think you need to visit often. Like, we visit every 6 months to a year and say, because we change, right? I mean, hopefully we grow, we learn new things. We think, this is where I want it to be, and now I'm here. So what's next? And maybe you start doing something and you're like, oh my hell, I don't want to do that. That was wrong. Let me backstep a little bit. So I think just really paying attention to what you do and what you're trying to create, and don't worry about what other people are doing. There's no satisfaction in that. It can't work as well as it does for them. It's their stuff.
Right. And I've seen a lot of people try to copy other people's stuff, which you can sort of see that because they don't get all of the knowledge that other person brought to the table to create that. One of the things that I see a lot too is people who go into business and they pick colors and they pick it based on what they like instead of the colors, the feeling behind it, the meaning behind it. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Absolutely. I think people, in the same way, they will say, well, red's an action color, so I want to use red because that way people will be driven and they'll come to me and they'll take action and they'll pay me money. And like, oh, wow, is that really what your brand is? Is that really what the story is? So honestly, it was something that it took me a while to accept, because I'm like, colors are just colors and things are pretty and whatever. But if you think that blue doesn't have some impact, you're wrong. And
Mhm.
if you ignore the power of the color, I think you do so at your own peril. But you get to, it's part of that brand. Again, it's part of why it drives your marketing, is if you understand the message you're trying to convey, and if you understand and can speak clearly about the benefits that you create, then you can say, okay, how do I want my ideal client to feel and how do I want them to react to my stuff, to my marketing, to my brand. So if you're going to use red, make sure that that actually makes sense to you. You know, you don't get to use, we're a meditation company, and we're going to help you calm down and meditate, and then you're going to use red and orange anyway. That's incredibly high action, high energy, high active. So just be aware that, you know, you've got color green, but there's lots of different kinds of green. So you have green that's money and life. You have green that's gangrene, that's dead and old, and, you know.
Wait a minute. Do you mean like gangrene in my arm or gang banger green?
Gangrene like in your arm, like that's
Okay.
dead, that's decayed,
Okay.
you know, that's vomitous green. So be careful with that. And the other thing I would tell you is it's really, really hard to brand a color. It's just, everybody has that blue, everybody has that purple. So it just depends on how you use it and what it means to you so that you can stand behind it. There's no wrong answer as long as you understand why you're doing it.
Very true. And with that red, you mentioned the red. Someone I know, you know, when he has a race car behind him on his branding, and it always kind of is odd because you meet him and he's a big teddy bear. So you have to remember that those things like that, when people meet you, they're just like, yeah, I don't get race car. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
So it really does have to be in alignment with who you are as well, so that people can identify with it, because then it confuses them. That's one thing people don't understand is with marketing, anytime someone's confused, they'll just go away.
They will say no. They won't take the extra time. One of the things I tell people all the time is don't be clever, be clear. Because people will not take time. They don't know you well enough to invest time into understand what the heck you're saying.
Right.
They're going to take it right at face value until they get to understand you. And if you are not clear enough and the benefits aren't clear enough, they won't invest that time. So yeah, don't confuse people. There's nothing in it for you.
So you make such a good point. Let's define what clever looks like. So I have a few things to add to that. Clever is when you make up your own words and you think that people will get them. And yes, they have to, well, wait, what does that mean? What else is clever to you?
Unique spellings. You know, there's a silent Q in the middle of your word. You know, like, for example, I'm trying to think, there's anything that's exciting or exit or extreme, and you use an X instead of an EX, like you spell it incorrectly, which a lot of that we can understand, especially if it's a short word. However, if somebody says, by the way, that's exit ABC, and I go Google that, I'm not going to spell it with an X. Like I'm going to spell it correctly instead of the way you had it, which means I probably won't find you. If I'm trying to assume what your email address is or assume what your URL is, I need to be super clear about that. With that, please don't use the word mompreneur. This is just my PSA for the moment. Preneur is not a suffix. Yeah. So don't just go adding stuff to the front of that.
Yes, I did authorpreneur one time. So,
yeah. Juliet, no.
I know. It was back in the olden days when I thought it was cool.
but it's that kind of thing where you think this means a whole lot to me, but if people can't get their teeth into it, and if they can't find you, it ceases to be fabulous.
Yeah. One of the other things is when you're trying to. So I evaluated some copy from someone last summer who had a spa. And when I looked at the name, I was like, this sounds like a shot of tequila, not a relaxing. Like, make sure that whatever word that is that you just made up actually has the feel you're trying to create too.
I think one of the things I have done before, in fact, I've caught myself doing it. I'm like, oh, I was just way too clever. I was going to do workshops, and I was having them symphony and different, like, because it's all music and rockstar. And as I got done creating my brochure for it, I went, well, what am I selling? What am I offering here? And it was so clever and so themed, and I had no idea what it was. Like, an extra pair of eyes would never have that. Like that. That's lovely. And are you going to sing? Are you actually going to play the violin? Like, what's going on if I show up here? The concert series. Okay. What is that? So don't get so caught up in your story.
Yeah, but you know what? That makes good sense. Like when we were doing copy a couple of weeks ago for a company, they brought us another company's copy, and I was literally on the phone with them, and I'm like, what does this mean? Like, does this actually say something in your world? And they're like, no, that's why we brought it to you. And I'm like, they're lovely words, but I still don't know what you do.
It's very poetic, but I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
I'm confused as to what I'm buying. And like you said, especially if it's a first glance, they don't care enough to put extra time into it. There's no,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think this is going to be a really good question
okay.
because you wrote it. No, not because I made it up. So what is the difference between a target market and an ideal client?
I love this. And it's one of those things that people get very confused about. I just got back from a great big conference. There were probably 800 people there. And I remember one of the women said, I mean, this whole room is full of my ideal client. I said, oh my gosh, I hope not. I really hope not. Because there are people here from all around the world, different sizes of business, different backgrounds in there, and different lengths of being in business. But there's no way that they are all your ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how I'm like, it's entirely possible that this room is full of your target audience. If you get really surface and say, I want to work with women business owners from the ages 30 to 55 who've been in business for 2 years, they're making X amount of dollars, they have X amount of employees. That's what kind of makes up a target market. And there are people who you know could benefit from your service.
Mm-hmm.
Period. An ideal client, these are your raving fans. These are the ones that will sit in the front 3 rows of every single concert. They will bring their friends with them. They know all the words to your songs. They will buy and wear the concert t-shirt. Like, these are your raving fans. And not only that, but you like them just as much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can serve my target audience. And if I say anybody who wants me can come work with me, I'm going to end up with some turds. And not because they're bad people, but because it's not a good fit, because they're not my people. Like, our sense of humor doesn't jive. Our timing doesn't jive. So an ideal client, you want to work with them as much as they want to work with you. They do not say, could you just? Could you just? That phrase is a red flag from hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just run. Could you just do one extra thing? Could you just give me a discount? Could you just have this done yesterday? Like, it's just that fuel for people who want you to work outside of your zone of genius. They want something more. They do scope creep, those kinds of things. So that even if they're going to get a lot out of you and they really want you, which is what a target market is, your ideal client, you are so excited to work with them because everything you do for them, they respect you. They don't question your value. They let you do your thing and respect your genius. That's an ideal client. The ones where you really do just light up every time you get to work with them. That's ideal. That's the difference.
That is so cool. So I just want to point out from a marketing standpoint too, like target market, your psychographics, your demographics, knowing where those people sit on the needs assessments,
Right.
what their top priorities is. That's what a target market is. When you go out and find your ideal clients, Amber has one of our quizzes, you're actually going out and looking for those people who were really excited about what you had to say, book that appointment, and then Amber gets to decide whether she wants to work with you.
Exactly.
I think that is a huge shift in that ideal client is, and you probably hear this from entrepreneurs all the time too. Oh, I don't have enough people. I'm talking to people all day that don't have money. I don't have enough of the right people. It's really going out and determining what that right people, I speak English, what that right person is, and manifesting more of that, seeing the patterns and what they're all about, and knowing that you've got the right person on that phone and you're excited about it.
Absolutely.
So that's a very good question, because I don't think people really know the difference. And I just wrote that chapter of my book this morning. I'm going to go back and steal some of your content you just gave us.
You are welcome to it.
No, thank you, because I was stealing it anyway. No. So what is the first step to claiming your voice? Because I've gone through your branding stuff and you take a little bit of a veer off from the normal stuff here with claiming your voice.
I do? That's interesting. Your voice, to me, that goes beyond your story. That is your genius, your expertise, your flaws, your eccentricities. Like, this is everything that makes you you. And usually where I start with people is with your core values. And that seems like, especially if you go into a corporation, you're like, by the way, CEO of $10 million, let's talk about your core values. They kind of look at you sideways. But the bottom line is that your core values affect your behavior and they will drive your business. Mm-hmm. Because you choose to partner with people who are in alignment with your same core values. If I talk to people and I say, so the first step is to identify what your core values are, which is an exercise a lot of people do. Let's talk. And the easy ones, I shouldn't say easy, the common ones I hear are integrity and honesty and loyalty. And then you get a little deeper and it's attention to deadlines. and punctuation, stuff like, or punctuality and stuff like that. Punctuation actually is a good one. Grammar, very good core value. But I don't think that, especially when it comes to you building your brand and building a business that's going to make you money and make you giggle, I don't think just being aware of those core values is enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get to take it one step further. So I ask you to rank them and decide which ones are really good ideas and which ones are absolute deal breakers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have ever walked away from a business deal, from an opportunity to work with a client or a joint venture, whatever that looks like, and you've walked away and you can't quite pinpoint it, that just something felt off. It just was giving you a little bit of what just wasn't a firm yes. It's probably because something in the pattern, something either in the other person on the other side of the table or something in the contract wasn't in alignment with your core value. So if you've left money on the table, chances are that's why.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about your core values is they change. And I know by definition, they're not supposed to because they're your core. But at the very least, they change the way they affect you. They change the way you interpret them. So for example, courage is a big one for me. Just jump, do your next bold move, do your next big thing. Don't worry about it. Like it's all about the jumping, right? Like, your stuff, you're going to land fine. So just jump. But I remember being 4 years old and my parents moved. And before they even had the truck unpacked, I was down the neighborhood introducing myself to everybody and their frog. I'm like, I'm out here to make friends. I'm 4 years old. It's all good. And my parents were freaking out because they came from a very large town to a small town. They're like, where the heck is she? And about an hour later, they found me in somebody's kitchen eating ice cream, just hanging out with my new friends who fed me ice cream. Like I can look back at that and think now as a mom, I would lose my stuff.
Right.
But this lady said, oh, you've got a really brave little girl there. And I thought, I just wanted ice cream. Like, it really isn't brave. But to go out and to meet new people and introduce yourself at that point, that was courage. That was bravery.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I'm 36 years old and decide, hey, I know I should be a mom. Now that I have a business, now that I have I've been married for 12 years, let's try something really crazy and we'll have a baby. In that respect, I'm like, we're going to try something completely new. We've never done it. We're very happy with the status quo. Now that's a level of courage, right? And now, even years later, I can walk away and see this amazing potential, quote unquote, opportunity and realize that it's going to make me a ton of money, but it's going to make me really miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And walking away from that, knowing and assuming and hoping that something else will come to take its place and there will be more of the amazing stuff if I just walk away from this great big bundle of fabulous, that's courage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your core values get to affect your behavior differently depending on your situation and as you grow and as they affect you. So you have to be aware of them because if they get to drive the kind of where you're going to market and who you're going to partner with and which expos you decide to participate in and which conferences you decide to go to. It all stems from your core values. And not only that, but then when you talk to potential clients and potential JV partners, their core values get to be in alignment with you too.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just going to be miserable. Even if it makes everybody money, it's going to be, everybody looking at you with one eye. Like it's just going to be hard. And it doesn't have to be that way if you're aware of why you do the things you do and what makes you tick.
Right. That is so very, very true. So you have a free gift for us today.
I sure do. I'm so excited. You should come and play with me. I should tell them about our quiz, Juliet. So, wait, what am I thinking? Okay. So if you want to spend a little bit of time with me, I would love to offer you a free consultation. I call them a discovery duet. And you can claim a spot by going to yourbrandbydesign.com/duet, DUET, as in one-on-one, the two of us having a private conversation, figuring out what's going on with your brand, what's broken, what's not, what's awesome, what needs polishing. So if you want to go to yourbrandbydesign.com/duet, you can find a spot on my calendar that meets your schedule and we'll have a conversation. But you can also, I've been working with Julia. I'm so excited about this. If you're not quite sure if your brand is broken or where it might be broken or how to fix it, you can go to brandingrockstarsquiz.com. So let me say it again, brandingrockstars with an S, quiz.com. It's like a 3.5-minute quiz. It walks you through the big keys of what it takes and different areas of your brand. And you get to decide where things are off and where things are working.
And you have a gift in there too, don't you? You just did like the best description anybody's ever done on my show of their quiz. But now you have to tell them about that thank you page.
The thank you page will actually lead you to a relaunch your Rockstar brand checklist. It's a full page of, did you think of this? Did you think of this? And it breaks it down again into those pieces where things that you may not think of, because chances are whatever your expertise is, it's probably not branding. But good news for you is it's mine. And I'm going to share that genius with you by going to that Rockstars brand or Branding Rockstars quiz page. And then your thank you gift is that relaunch checklist. And it will get you thinking, and then it gets to move you into action and making changes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me come play.